Hello, thank you for joining us here on the Spyshack Podcast, the Challenge Edition, where we're going to be discussing episode 9 of the Challenge 40, Battle of the Eras, a was it an era of one. Um, After at least I think a couple of episodes where we all kind of decided that it was kind of boring. I think this episode kind of changes a little bit, and hopefully the next couple of weeks are going to be better because it finally updated the format, or a format's going to be changed at the end of this. So hopefully we can get a little bit better episodes from coming from. Before we go ahead and get into all that, I want to ask Ruth, how are you doing today?
Good. I am excited that there's finally a change in the game and there's something to talk about.
Well, Greg should be joining us here shortly, but we wanted to go ahead and get started so we can go ahead and talk about the episode. Um, let's go ahead and just talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about Rachel because she's the only one in her era left, and as far as we know, she's going to be well. As far as we knew last week, um, every week she was going to have to end up being a target, and she kind of went into this week figuring that it's going to continue that way. Um, so, how do you think her, I guess, position as the last one in her era has changed her game set since the beginning?
I think it helped her. Like, she won because wasn't it like the average of the number
Hmm.
of people and how long you lasted? So she only had to worry about her time and how long she stood up there versus if she had other people up there with her and if they fell first, like that may have affected the outcome of this specific challenge. I feel like she's a strong individual, though, to be able to handle herself like being a team of one. I mean, and she handled herself perfectly fine because she did win, but
Yeah, and
yeah.
well, like you said, it's the average, right? The average of the what was it? The average of the total times
And the number of
of
people on the team.
yeah. So like when you have other eras where we had 3 or 4 people drop off right off the bat, it's not gonna help your case.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have era 4 who had Josh cheating technically by putting his foot on the what is it called, that thing,
The
and
ledge.
yeah,
Which
and
I don't know if you saw. I didn't know if it was called cheating or not, or because she wasn't putting it like on a rock or anything. But when Casey was holding herself up, she was using her knees along the wall. Like she wasn't resting. She could only have two things. She was holding one and had her foot on another. Hi, Greg. And
I'm here.
and then she had her knees up on the wall and was like kind of holding herself and trying to put her feet on the sides of the thing. And I was surprised they didn't call that out.
I wonder if it's because it's not an actual ledge, so you're
Yeah.
not technically um, bearing down on something that would actually help you stay up. It is, but however, if you really, really think about it, it does help with the how you're distributing your weight.
But it didn't matter because she didn't win, so or they didn't win.
Yeah, Greg, we
Yes.
had just started talking about Rachel.
Ah,
You sound a little
yes.
bit far away, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'll get closer.
yeah.
Better.
So,
Better.
what
Better.
did you think about this week's episode?
Um, it was very. Uh, you want to say? Uh, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. There was a lot of. I want to say. Ah, I was looking for a good pun because of the height of the box and all of the entanglements.
All the entanglements.
Um, I mean, there's a lot of entanglements with all the different eras and I guess, the
Alliances.
alliances and the wires.
The wires.
Uh,
But psh.
well, we'll get there. No, I thought, like, honestly, like um, there was a lot to, there's a lot of discussions going on. That's for sure. And
So
um, the 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 opening challenge was I I know I would not have lasted for
Oh
no,
God, no!
any
I
minute,
would have
like
fallen.
30 seconds. I'd have been holding on and this sucks.
5 seconds.
I would have needed like 10 of the little things, and then I would need them to be like sticking out a foot, so that I can like put my knee down.
Well, the thing
Um,
is like you had to find your grip in the dark because as soon as you start seeing light, that's when the thing was gonna drop. So if you didn't catch your bearings in 2 seconds, you're gonna fall in.
It's
well, I think the actual advantage was with Rachel because she didn't have all these people like in her ear as she was trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out all the equations. So she only needed two technically. She got what, four?
She had
Or she get,
7. She had
I
6 or
think it was,
7.
okay, 6 or 7, yeah. But all she really needed were two. But because she had no one in her ear, she just did the ones that she needed to do, and technically she could have just been moving around until until she felt comfortable. And if she did start to feel in a cramp or whatever, she can still move around until she fell. And I don't think she actually did. I think she actually just stood in the same spot, but because she knew how to, I guess, distribute her body weight from rock climbing. Is that what she said?
Yeah, and you also just need a strong core in general to hold everything together. As somebody who works out frequently, your core is important, and I can't do lunges, and they say it's because my core is weak, and I'm like, it's all in the legs, but it's not. You need your core, and so I'm trying to strengthen my core so I could be better at my lunges.
So she can go to the challenge.
Yes.
So yeah, so the what it actually really surprised me. I knew something was going to happen because the daily challenge actually happened within the first like 15 minutes. I think the first.
Yes. I saw before they even went into like the chambers. I was like, everything we already know. Like the I don't know. I looked at the time, and there was still like 45 minutes left of the episode. And I'm like, oh my god, don't tell me this is gonna be all just talking and hearsay, and then like the last 5 minutes are gonna be the actual challenge. But I think it evened out okay. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
there
the
was a
editing
lot
was
of
actually a bit
time.
better. It wasn't great,
Yeah.
but it was a lot better than we've been getting. The timing was a lot better. Uh, we didn't need a lot of the drama before the actual daily challenge, but I think the whole drama with the vacation alliance and then them starting to have to go against each other, or hopefully not have to go against each other, but um, the whole thing with Josh and his relationship with Casey and with what's her name, with Rachel. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that because I feel like I get what he's saying when he says, I can tell Rachel what how I feel, but I'm not gonna, I can't really tell her what to do. I can't really tell her, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is, you have to do what you have to do for your game. And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get what the other guys are saying because of what he did with bananas and all that, but he really can't force her to do what he wants. And it's not like everyone was moving over to like be with her in an alliance and begin with anyway. So
Yeah. And I think also the editing, but it obviously makes it seem like he didn't even try at all or even say anything to defend Casey. I
hmm
don't know if it's because they edited it that way for the drama sake or if he really didn't. But
but you think about
Casey
it,
has been his number one, like, since I don't know if they started the challenge together, but they're both from Big Brother. And, like, ever since they've been on the show, on the challenge, they have been two peas in a pod.
It's
So,
ironic because like on Big Brother they were not tight.
I didn't even know
no,
she was in Big Brother.
she won,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
she?
yeah.
Oh, she did.
But like I mean, they were like they had moments. They were not they were they got along okay, but there was moments where his big personality came out a lot, and and it was that there was a lot of like where she was like, just shut up, dude.
So was he
Well, and
like
I
a?
think
Go ahead.
I think what brought them together is when they started bringing Big Brother castmates into the
Mm,
challenge. It was like the Big Brother people stuck together, and
mm,
then that's how people are always like. There's such thing called as the Big Brother Alliance. So if you were in Big
uh,
Brother, you were part of that alliance, and they stuck together, and it was always about trying to get to tear Big Brother apart.
makes sense.
But because I've always heard that he's like you said a big personality and all that. Was he just acting way different there, or because
Oh,
he doesn't seem like he'd be someone to push people around, especially based on what
he
we've seen here.
so he would walk around, um, like he would get up early, people would be sleeping, and he would just grab pots and pans and just start smacking them around and start screaming and yelling and like
Mind
singing
games.
dumb songs at the top of his lungs and just walk around smacking them and just like being annoying and
Okay.
just people were like, Go somewhere else, shut up," like and he would do that like all the time, and it wasn't like it wasn't something that they told him to do. He was just doing it because he was being annoying. And then he would go in the confessional room and he's like, I'm just doing this because I know it's making everybody just off balance. And
Okay.
I love driving the insanity.
Okay. Because
Hmm.
okay, that's a little bit different. A different strategy because there at least you don't know the people that are around you for the most if you're
Hmm.
a first time player, right?
Right, yeah.
So
You
what
definitely
you're
get
trying to
baited.
do is get people off their game. I
Hmm.
guess that will work. Mind
But don't you
games.
also want people to like you so they don't vote you out?
Yeah, yeah, you do. But I think like I think he was trying to draw attention onto him to keep it off of other people,
Mm.
So he was trying to be the bad guy, you know?
So maybe
Did he make it
that just stuck
far?
with them.
Yeah. Uh I think like he was I'm trying to think in the season like I know Casey won. He was up in the like final four.
I've
I
always
don't
wanted to go back and watch their seasons, like the people that I now know because of the challenge. I want to go back to
know.
Big Brother and like watch their things. I just have not.
And I know he's done some of the go back shows, like so they brought people back for other stuff, and it's like, oh hey, there he is again.
Like
So,
anniversary shows or
hmm,
all star shows.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand that part because of the other show that I watch. People do actually play games like that. Not maybe not as much now, but they do. They would play mind games with each other like that. One of the most famous villains in Survivor history was Russell Hantz, who also had his I think his uncle in Big Brother, and he on the first day he burned someone's socks so that they would be miserable the rest of the
oh
game, which ended up being one of his biggest allies, I think, if I remember correctly.
jeez.
But yeah, so I get that point. So I guess whatever perception that he picked up from there, it kind of stuck over here. So people are thinking he's going to be a certain way, where he doesn't seem to be this big old macho guy that he seems to be really like, lack of a better word, docile,
Yeah, he's
and
like super chill. Like I was expecting
yeah.
something totally different when I saw him, and to see him in his game, the way he's playing it is very chill. And then, like I don't know, like you guys said when he went and approached Bananas, like in previous episode, he was just like that seemed out of character for him. And then this whole discussion with Rachel seems like it's not out of character, but it seems like he's very starstruck, like with these two.
Well, he's not going
He
to be
is
doing
very
those.
different. He has been very different this season. So he was. I think he took a break from like the last two seasons.
Mm,
There was some drama that happened. Somebody got canceled.
mm,
I know there was an argument and they called him something or said something about him. That
uh,
person ended up getting kicked out of the challenge. Like
oh,
they stopped airing that person and has no longer been invited. And so
oh,
since that happened, Josh hasn't been back. So now he has been a little bit more mellow, but in the past he's always been like very emotional, very like in their face, like, why aren't you listening to me? You're supposed to be my friend and like which he's
mm,
been doing that a little bit here and there. But yeah, he says he's like knows all about meditation and like his faith, and he's just very like calm. But this is the most calm I've ever seen him.
Serenity Now.
Yeah.
If anybody watches Seinfeld. Um,
But his con is like he is friends with everybody. Like everybody loves Josh, or like he has. That has always been his downfall. He's friends with too many people, promises too many things, and then like when it comes down to it, he can't back up anybody because he has promises to all these other people, and that's what's been happening on this season, which has happened in every season he's been in. And it's just like, what are you gonna do? It's Josh doing Josh.
His biggest asset is also his biggest downfall because he's very social. He's actually making friends. He's actually able. I mean, but the thing is that in a game like this, where you're supposed to be on your own, especially now that you're on your own, I mean, yeah, he might be a good ally to help in your way or shift things in your way. But like I said, he can't force people to do what he wants to do. He could. What he's going to tell Rachel that's going to force him not to throw in Devin and Casey. I mean, she's going to end up having to do what she needs to do for her game's sake and whatever is best for her. I mean, I don't get why people. I get why people are upset with him sometimes, but I mean, I feel like it's also built up because at the end of last week we saw Corey and him being so like upset with each other. And this one, they're like, whatever, like nothing happened.
It's all for drama. It's all for the show. It's all for airtime. Because I think, huh? Oh, you're like, what? Dun dun dun. What's it called? Spoiler alert! They're trying to earn time just so they can get invited to the next season.
Oh my.
So you said last time that there have been other seasons where there's just one person left on a team, or one or two people left on the team. How is that kind of the same kind of role that Rachel's playing right now?
Yes.
No, I don't know. I don't know how they played. So, is it very similar? Or I don't know what those seasons were like.
They they did have to do the challenge on their own, and if they were last, they had to go in. Like, it happened in Battle of the Seasons, they competed in pairs. Like, if you went down to an elimination, you had to send 2 people down. So, like, when it was the last season standing, there was only 2 people left. And then it was Jemmy and Knight. And then they ended up leaving, so they were eliminated. War of the Worlds, I think that was one. I know one of the countries, like, just got everybody out. Yeah.
So, what I don't get here, so you all tell me if I'm mistaken in how I'm thinking here. I get that Era 4 was trying to get Jenny on their side to choose 2 and whoever else, right, to go against the wait, who was it that was automatic? It was Era 4, right? Our Era 4 was automatically going to win no matter what. So they wanted, yes. So they wanted them to pick Era 2 so they can at least even if the worst happened, 2 and 2 go home, at least there's not a risk. There's a risk of only one of them going home. How did they even think that Rachel was gonna work with them when there's this whole perception that Era 3 and Era 4 have been working together from the very beginning, that they really haven't really reached out to Era 2 or Era 1, and it looks like they've been picking on Era 1 from the very beginning. So how did they even think that she was gonna work with them? Is there anything that in their relationships?
No, I think it's just like a Hail Mary, like their backs against the wall. You try anything you can to save your people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it was.
I understand that.
Like, you're not gonna just be like, okay, send them in.
No, I get that, but it's like, but they were still upset. They were still upset that she went with someone else when it doesn't seem like there would be anything that would even point to, like, hey, we've been on your side.
I think for the sake of that, Era 3 has been winning, so they could pay her back a favor, and I think that's what they were counting on. Like, Era 2 can't do anything for you because they don't win, but if you don't send us in, then we owe you one, and we'll save you next time, or whatever we can do to help you out. I think that's why they thought that they wouldn't get chosen, because they have more of a, what's the word, collateral, or not collateral, I don't know. They had something to offer her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying.
But I think she would have been stupid if she didn't put them in. Like, I'm
So-
glad they went in against each other.
So talking about the elimination, what did y'all think about the elimination this week compared to previous weeks? We'll ask Greg first.
I thought it was hooked up. Now, I honestly, like, as a I was very excited by it because I have a giant box of wires, and I love going into it and pulling out the wires and untangling them and then retangling them again and trying to figure out what they go to.
Every guy over 40, I think, gets this.
You should have
So,
brought it out while you were watching it and see if you could do it as fast as them.
I have a box right
Honestly,
over here.
I'm not.
We should do it right
no-
now.
No jokes. So, I for the shop, I had to go and hook up some audio stuff. I needed to find very specific wires and other things, and I was doing that earlier today. And I was like, when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is real.
Yep.
Like,
Well, not to get all sad or whatever, but whenever Ruth and my wife's grandfather passed away, he had this big old box of cords,
yeah.
and their grandma wanted to throw away. I'm like, hold up, let me go through them. Let me find any cord that I might want to put in my box.
You got a box.
Yeah, I got a box of my own.
Heck yeah, you do.
I pulled out like HDMI cables and stuff like that. And now I have 3 screens that I have all connected to HDMI because I have enough HDMI cables. Yeah. And now the stupid appliances don't come with HDMI cables anymore. So,
It's wild.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
When you're 40, when you get close to 40 or above 40, you start collecting wires.
mhm. And then you find that one plug that's like, oh no, I know I have one of these.
Yep.
It's a weird plug, and then you
The
find it, and
1990s.
it's like, oh, unicorn plug.
Yep. Yep. No, I know most women won't, or at least the women that I know don't get it, but I get it. I have a box. Every guy that I know has that box like that.
There's a box in our garage that has a bunch of wires. I will say that.
Yep. You see? So yeah.
I-
Go ahead.
Sorry. I just don't like that, like, because it's all in my head now, because now I am woke. I hate these kinds of challenges because you don't know how they're edited, or like, I mean, I'm glad Tori won. I wanted Tori to win. But, yeah, I did enjoy, I like a good untangling. For women, we untangle our necklaces and our jewelry. That gets tangled up. So I do like untangling things, and I like puzzles. So I felt like that was kind of like a puzzle, like matching, and it's like kindergarten stuff, like match the shape to the thing. But some of them had like different prongs, and it looked like it
we
would
know.
fit over it, but it didn't necessarily go over it. So
And we know. I have a
I
little
thought it,
hub right now in front of me.
I thought it was a
With
cool
10 different
challenge.
ones.
Well, here's the thing though. Did those lights really have anything to do with the actual things that they were sticking in, or were they just random lights that would pop up?
We don't know.
Yeah, that's the
Because
thing.
on
Is like,
one of them, it showed that the 2 lights were out, and then, well, I guess it would make sense. I think it was Tori when she went to go try to find it or redo it. Then she had like 3 or 4 more out, and it was just like, well, she had to have changed 2 of them, but I don't know if they also had extra ones. Like if they had more than one
that
hit,
might be.
that could also be it. But what's it called? I do know that the lights didn't match like when you look down. So if it was like the top right, that wasn't the same plug. So.
Well, that's what I was saying because that they don't match, but also was it TJ, right? His name? He said, when you look up on the screen and you see the lights that are not turned on, keep that in mind so that you know who would make. But how was that even? Because it didn't look like it matched anything. So how do they know which one was gonna fix those two lights? And you saw it a couple times where they fixed those two lights, but then all of a sudden two lights were missing. So I don't doubt that the plug needed to be right. I just did they have any actual what's it called, connection to the actual lights that we saw on the screen? And
That's what I'm saying. Because one time there was only 2 out, and then they fixed those 2, but then there was 4 out, and it's like.
mm-hmm.
It didn't
And
make
then
sense, but
at the end of the women's elimination, when Tori won, but they didn't announce it, and then they were like, "Oh no, no!" And they're like that. I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, they're doing it again. Their production stepping in again.
if they did that to Tori, I would have been pissed because Tori's like one of my all-time favorite girls. I love Casey, I do, but I think
She got
because she
robbed.
came from, she's not an original MTV person because she came from Big Brother.
Oh,
You see, I didn't know who I was going for until that
She was a
happened,
beast.
and when that happened, and I got upset, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going for Tori. Um, yeah,
No, I
See,
love.
I'm
I
the-
would pick. Go on.
I'm the outlier from you two, because I was like, oh, Casey's gonna shine this week. Look at her go. She's holding on for dear life in
I
the crate, and then she's gonna rock this competition. She's gonna do this thing, and
I will
I
say,
can't.
I do know she's a beast, and I do love watching her.
Mm-hmm.
She has won, and she's been in every season she's been in. She's made it to the final. So this has to be her worst season. She didn't get a lot of airtime. I don't know if her being in her era kind of hindered her game as far as athleticism is concerned, but yeah, she wasn't really highlighted that much this season. But I am a fan of Casey, but I love Tori more.
I can't blame you because I'm the same way with when it was Jay and Michelle were there, and I was going for them because they were part of Survivor. When Natalie was there, I was going for her when she was part of there. I don't even think she made it the whole season because she ended up being pregnant, and they needed to. Natalie, she
In
was
the challenge,
yeah. Um, I don't know if
they
they, I
write
don't
her.
know. I don't know if she found out she was pregnant during the challenge, but
oh
she
wow,
ended up being pregnant during the challenge. But I don't know if she actually made it through the whole season or not, or if she got eliminated, or if she had to pull out. I
The
didn't see
little
that yet.
short girl.
She's like she's Indian. She's a twin.
Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else. Who's the little short girl that was dating Johnny Bananas for a little bit?
Oh, I
I
don't
thought
know.
her name was Natalie.
From Survivor.
Or maybe she was Big Brother.
Let me see.
Okay, no. She was Big Brother. She was Big Brother.
I put no. Yeah, it wasn't somebody from. Yeah. But yeah, no. She came out there
She was
and
friends with Wes.
yes, I hated that because I hate Wes, but well, I hate Wes since he called up the Survivor saying that they have weak challenges and all that, and everyone on Twitter actually attacked him saying, "Bro, you struggle, and that's because you eat and drink all day. Imagine if being out there and trying to do those challenges when you haven't been able to eat, haven't been able to sleep, and just in miserable conditions." So. He did get his comeuppance when he tried to call out the Survivor, I guess, cast and all that. But he does watch Survivor, I guess, apparently. Anyways, talking about the challenge. um, finally, we see the shakeup that we were kind of waiting for. I wish it would have happened before. There was only one of Era 1 left, because now it actually helps her. She doesn't have to be a target every week, but now we have to see how it's gonna shake up the alliances of era 2 and era 3, 3 and 4, and see if there's anything that might happen. Although we did see an auto, they went after someone in their own era because they were too nice to another era.
I think it helps those that were outcasted from their eras. Like Corey wasn't very connected with his era. Jenny that they were going to keep sending in over and over again for Era 4. So like it gives those players a chance to finally break away from that mold and like play their game with the people that they are friends with. And I think the people that were cliquey in Era 3 and 4 will remain a clique or an alliance, and
it's gonna
we'll
group
see.
them up, and then the other ones are gonna have to group up themselves, even if they're not technically friends or whatever.
Yeah.
The enemy
Yeah.
of my enemy is my friend.
Well, we didn't talk about the guy, the male elimination of this week, and
Like there was one. I'm just kidding.
well, there's an elimination. I don't know if it was a challenge.
It wasn't a challenge. It just
What
he just
was Devin?
eliminated
I kind of get what did you
I
say?
forgot.
himself. It wasn't a challenge. He just eliminated
Oh, yeah.
himself. Like,
I kind of get what he was saying. But he did not think this through. He was saying like maybe I don't have to unravel this whole ball. I just need to unravel enough to where the wires will reach the panel. But
But
he
he
didn't
still didn't unravel anything or plug anything.
exactly. Well, because when he finally got 2 or 3 out, they didn't reach. He's like, dang it, I'm gonna have to do this all. So I kind of get what he was saying, but he just did it. He just miscalculated on what was needed to be done. Whereas Kylan was he was like just yeah
Moving.
yeah. I've never seen Kylan before because, like I said, I've only seen very little amount of seasons compared to what Ruth's seen. But I actually like him. I actually think he might make it pretty far. He seems to be smart.
should- You should watch last season.
Okay.
Was it Ride or Dies? No, it wasn't Ride or Dies. It was Battle
was
for
it-
a New
yeah,
Champion or something.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He was really good. He was almost to the final, and then freaking Jay and what's her name?
Michelle.
The one that Michelle screwed them over, and were trying to get Horacio and Kylan out because they didn't want to see them in the final, and so they got them out. But they made it pretty. Yeah, Kylan. I love Kylan. I'm cheering for him. He's
Yeah, I was surprised.
He's super smart.
Yeah,
He beat
I was surprised.
Darrell last season. So last season, the challengers, in order to be a champ would come in, and that's who was in the elimination. And so they had, if they didn't beat the champ, then they went home. But if they beat them, then I don't know, they get to stay. I don't know if I said that right. But anyways, Kylan was thrown in, and Darrell was the person that they brought in to go against him, and he beat Darrell. And he beat like 2 or 3 champs last year.
oh, wow.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good.
And he's the one that did all the
Math.
calculations. Yeah, I did like Banana's strategy here, where he didn't know what to do, so he just started yelling numbers out and hoping people thought he was actually helping them out. If you're not gonna help, at least make it look like you're gonna help.
Right? So they can't. So that way they can't say he was throwing the challenge.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was in real time for them. What we were seeing at those equations were going fast. I was
Yeah,
able to get all the square roots, like, because you don't have to like add or subtract anything. But everything else, I was like, I don't know how they did it.
no, yeah. Some of those were they look really tough, and then some of the ones that looked like they were hard, they were kind of easy because just PEMDAS and stuff like that. But no, I think I would have gone at least 4 or 5. I don't know. I think I could have gotten 6. I don't know by myself, but I wouldn't be able to get close to all of them.
0. I'd have got
So yeah.
0.
So yeah, now so Rachel gets a good hand here for the coming weeks, and we've actually had something to talk about, guys.
Yeah.
We weren't just trying to like jump back and forth and trying to like dance like Ashley Simpson, trying to figure out what to say. Throw back to like 2001 or something like that.
I was like, that's random. I was like, did something about her come up that we're talking about it right now?
Was it 2001?
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up, but it did actually. If you haven't seen the news, Ashley Simpson is making a comeback.
Really? Are you
And we're
serious?
sponsoring her. Oh,
I
wow.
was like, what?
She's gonna
And we're
be on the show
sponsoring
next
her.
week.
Oh my god.
She's gonna be our fourth.
We should make it happen. Should reach out to
Oh my
somebody.
god. She'd be like, no, no.
I'm like, do you watch the challenge?
So,
Let me see.
are
Does she have an Instagram? Is she verified?
can you can you randomly come over here? What do y'all think now? What's I had like three questions in my head that all kind of jumbled up together. Now that they're changed the format here, what do y'all think is going to happen with the alliances? I think we already answered this.
I think yeah, you laid it out like it's gonna end up being one of those things where the people that work well together right now are gonna do that thing, and then the others are gonna have to work against that, and that's kind of how it's gonna end up. Um, it's going to be an interesting dynamic we're gonna see unfold, and that should make the show more enticing to watch if it hasn't been enticing in the past couple
Well, now
episodes.
we're going to be able to see people who have been hiding behind their alliance,
Yeah.
behind their power of their era, come into the forefront. And I think really maybe that was what was causing this whole thing to happen, this whole boring part. It's because the people that were actually entertaining were actually hiding behind the alliance that they had, or they were about how powerful their eras were, where they didn't have to worry about that. And that's why Era One went down so fast, and the people that we like from Era One went out because the other people were hiding.
Yeah, taking shots.
So yeah, um, now that the game changed, they're switching locations, right? They usually do that, don't they?
They hadn't done that in a while, I think, because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Because like lately, they've had them like literally in bunkers or like away from civilization, and they have like their own clubs. They don't have to go to public clubs. Um,
Like we
but
still
yeah,
need to get them drunk.
yeah. No, literally, like in the past like 2 or 3 seasons, like they've made a club like on the on the same premises, and you can like they're just walking over, and it's like a little other building that they made where they have like a little DJ and a bartender, but nobody is in there other than them. They've actually gone out in public here in Vietnam. But yeah, we will. I guess they are traveling. I wonder when they're gonna bust out the whole point system though. Like that has to come into place probably
Yeah.
within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I wish they would at least let us know what's going on, even if we don't, because at least we know how
We
it's
won't
gonna
tell
work.
them.
Yeah. What does it matter, right? Because even if we would know what's going on with those points, it's not like we're knowing what they're actually the tally is. Even though this week I think
Yeah.
they did they were more vocal with how they were scoring them, and how they wanted to place what Casey was like. I want to put Tori number 5 and everyone else underneath her. So I get their rationale and all that.
I don't know if it was like a dream or I saw it in one of the times where they say upcoming. I feel like they show it up on a screen. Like TJ's talking about it, and then it like shows up in the screen in front of them, and all their jaws drop, and it's like I don't know.
I don't remember because I've been watching the mix between the DVR and the recorded version. So sometimes the DVR version does not have the same as the other version. I think it's on that YouTube TV. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. But I'm glad for this. I'm finally something to talk about, something to actually get us going. After a couple of weeks of being
Falling
upset
asleep.
yeah. After a couple of weeks of couple boring episodes and frustrating episodes of our favorites going home, now we're going to be able to see our rest of our favorites playing, hopefully, and we can see them battling each other to stay in the game. Anything else before we call it a night? Nope. All right. Greg,
Yeah.
predictions for next week?
Oh, predictions for next week.
Who is-
People are gonna be angry. No, I don't know. That's the tough thing. I don't know well enough to make a prediction. I don't know.
One thing I forgot to, I was thinking before I forgot to talk about when we're talking about the women's elimination. I was
Mm-hmm.
starting to think that Devin was going to make a comeback just because of how much they talked about how slow he was going
Mm-hmm.
and how bad of a um what's it called thing he was doing. He
Strategy.
kept talking about it and kept talking about it. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna make a comeback and Kylan's gonna go home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but never mind. Anyways, Ruth, do you want to recommend an episode or a season for Greg to go watch, even though he'll watch it till like after the full season?
I don't know.
Season 5. Go look for it.
I'll look for it.
Season 12, because 12 is my favorite number.
Season 12.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there, guys. And we will come back with episode 10 of the challenge. And hopefully, we're going to be a little bit more lively next time around because we're going to actually be back to our normal time and our normal day. So we would also hopefully be able to see a livelier episode, another lively episode that we actually want to talk about, and not like the last couple of weeks that we've had. So we're going to go ahead and leave it there, and we'll see you all next time here on the Spyshack Podcast.
Bye.
We didn't have as much on today as we had